Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into one of Korea's most iconic and most flavorful food, kimchi. If you've ever wondered why this fermented vegetable dish has taken over fridges around the world, stick around. Kimchi dates back thousands of years, evolving through dynasties, wars, and even refrigeration. What started as a way to preserve vegetables from harsh winters became a cultural staple. At its core, kimchi is fermented cabbage, usually napa, mixed with gochugaru, garlic, ginger, scallions, and often a splash of fish sauce. But there are hundreds of varieties, from radish kimchi to cucumber, and even white kimchi with no spice at all. Growing up, I was obsessed with Korean variety shows, from Running Man to Roommates, and especially Invincible Youth. That show has such an impact on me. I remember vividly being 9 years old, glued to the screen, watching these idols go out into the countryside, doing chores, harvesting vegetables during winters, coming together to make kimchi. It was something I'd never seen before. And even though I was just a kid from a different part of the world, something about that life, that togetherness really struck to me. I've always had so much love and respect for the Korean culture and Asian culture in general. Watching these shows opened my eyes to the lifestyle so different from my own. I didn't grow up seeing that, but through that screen, I got to experience what it was like, how people lived, how they worked, how they laughed together. It made me appreciate the world a lot more. I grew up watching Korean people enjoy kimchi so much that I wanted to try it when I got older. Eventually, I got my hands on a store-bought jar. It was an acquired taste at first, but that was fascinating me, is how different every batch can be. Different regions in Korea make it differently. Some are sweet, some spicy, some with strong seafood flavor. I recently watched an episode of Hanging Out with You Jisoo, where people from all over Korea brought their own kimchi styles to a contest, and every single one told a different story. I was inspired to finally make it myself. I always saw it as this big family tradition. People gather around, hands in chili paste, laughing, bonding, creating memories. I didn't have the family gathering. I was alone in my kitchen, but still, it felt special, like I was a part of something big. And making this video, I know it's something I've always wanted to remember. So one thing I will say, watching people make kimchi is completely different than making it yourself, because it is extremely tiresome. From cutting all these vegetables to knowing the exact recipe I want to follow to all the mixing, and it was a lot of work. I see why it is a family activity and a family gathering that is made into a celebration for people to partake in making kimchi, because I was whooped at the end of the day. If you've never made kimchi at home, worry. It is so much harder than you think. I'll walk you through the process step by step by salting first the cabbage to pack into your jar. Just prepare your kitchen to smell a little intense. Quick history lesson. Fermentation isn't just about making food last longer. It transforms the flavors and boosts the nutrients. Kimchi is loaded with probiotics, which is great for your gut and taste buds as well. In my culture, we have pickles. It's similar, but yet very different. So delicious. The radish was massive. Even after julienning most of it, I still had a surprising amount left. It felt like I was chopping forever. But eventually, I made it through. That one stubborn vegetable, only to move on to carrots. At first, I struggled so much with the carrots because they were so dense. It was so hard to get them to cut into the right size, the right length. But after so much trial and error, and looking up on TikTok, looking up on YouTube, doing so much research, I finally figured out a method that worked. For this method, I saw a professional chef do this, and this is, I guess, how they do it in the expensive restaurant kitchens. They basically cut the carrot into squares so that it can easily have flat surfaces all around and cut them down. But I feel like this wasn't ideal for me, so I ended up using a different tactic from a Korean ajumma. Thank you, ajumma. 감사합니다. This is essentially the tactic that I saw the Korean ajumma use. She basically cut the carrots very thinly at an angle, and she was able to get very thin slices. To make the paste, I mixed rice flour with a little bit of water, and then afterwards I simmered it in a pot to reduce the liquid. Once it turned a little bit thick and gummy, I turned off the heat and transferred to a large bowl. In the large bowl, I'm going to mix in my paste along with the spices and all the other ingredients listed in this recipe. I didn't have a Korean pear or apple on hand, so I used some leftover bulgogi marinade. Do not come for me, I know it's not in the recipe. Side note, the marinade had a Korean pear in it. However, I didn't think ahead to take some of the Korean pear out, so instead I just had leftover marinade left. And also, I didn't have the salted shrimp until now, so I added extra fish sauce. However, that's all I had, and I mixed it in with one full onion and a lot of garlic. When I say a lot, I mean a lot, because Koreans love garlic. Like, add a lot. Once you have incorporated all the vegetables into the sauce, you want to rinse out your salted cabbage. Your Napa cabbage, you're going to rinse it 2 or 3 times depending on how much salt you had added. You're going to squeeze out as much water as you can, and then you're going to set it aside. Now, this is the most fun part for me because, I don't know, it just brings the kid out of me. So you're going to separate every leaf. I usually do 3 at a time, especially if I cut it in half. And then I put in the marinade. I don't know what you want to call it, but you put it in between every leaf. I don't know. It's just so much fun for me to do. I enjoy it. After a few days or weeks, depending on how funky you like it, you got your very own homemade kimchi. Spicy, tangy, crunchy, and totally addicting. Eating it with rice, soup, noodles, or just straight up from the jar. I definitely won't judge because I did so. Personally, I've realized after making kimchi that I like fresh kimchi. However, I've built up the acquired taste of eating a more aged kimchi over time. Now I enjoy it, but before, when I first tried it, it wasn't the most enjoyable thing ever. I was even questioning why it was so popular, but I get it now, being a seasoned person that eats kimchi now. If you've enjoyed this dive into kimchi culture, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell for more delicious food stories from around the world. And hey, let me know in the comments, what's your favorite kind of kimchi? Thanks for coming along with me on this journey, very long journey, whether you're here for the food, the culture, or just a little nostalgia. I'm glad you're here. Don't forget, like, comment, and subscribe. And tell me in the comment, what dish made you fall in love with another culture? Thanks for watching, and remember, fermentation is your friend. See you next time. Until then. 안녕, 친구.